Well said. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for stopping by. This is an avail that I think has been speculated about and overhyped, but what I do want to do is give you an update. In addition to coming here for the game tonight, I was accompanied by Deputy Commissioner Gary and David Zimmerman, and we had a series of meetings this afternoon with Greg Jamison and the City of Glendale. And basically the status of things is we have an understanding with Greg Jamison that we are going to proceed with he and his group to reach a formal agreement for the purchase and sale of the Coyotes. While Greg is working on that with us, he's also going to simultaneously looking to be concluding an agreement with the City of Glendale. And if both things track as we hope they will in the not too distant future, although I won't put an exact time frame on it, we will be in a position, subject to board approval and council approval obviously, to have the sale of the Coyotes finalized and effectuated. Basically that's what we did today, that's why we're here, and we're looking forward to the game. Greg, would you like to come up and say something?
Sure. I'm happy to be here. It's been a lot of work to be here. I'm excited about the Phoenix Coyotes. I'm excited about the Jobby.com Arena in Glendale, Arizona. I'm also excited about what the team has accomplished and how exciting that is, and what the game is tonight, and how fun that will be for the fan base. It's always a thrilling moment to get to this moment and have these types of games. We have a group that is excited about going forward as the owners of the Phoenix Coyotes. We have a group that cares deeply about the National Hockey League. They care deeply about hockey. They care deeply about youth hockey. And they look forward to being a part of this team and helping to help this team to continue to be successful. It's been some interesting times, some ups and downs over the years, but the future we believe is very bright. The future is bright for participants and fans and sponsors and suite holders, and we would. I'm sure there will have other times and more we can say, but at that point in time, I'll stop and say we're excited and we look forward to it.
We'll be happy to take questions.
Mister, can you just talk about the next steps, or at least give us a little bit of idea what you expect over the next few days?
What I expect over the next few days is on the dual tracks we talked about. Greg will finalize the things he needs to do, and we'll be working on a purchase and sale agreement. And at the same time, Greg and his group will be working on finalizing an agreement with the City of Glendale that the council can be in a position to vote
on. This is for Mr. Jamison. I'm just wondering, you know, the Coyotes have lost money in recent years. What do you plan to do differently to reverse that situation? Why do you think you can make it work?
Well, you have to have goals, and you have to believe that things can get accomplished. And we firmly believe that we can continue on a path, a good path that has been started in the last couple of years, and we want to build on that path. We want to continue to sell more tickets. We want to continue to sell suites, as I alluded to earlier. We want to sell sponsorships, and it's just basically good hard work, and it's exciting. This is a product that we believe in. I believe the staff will believe in it very much, and we want to thrive, continue to thrive here in Glendale. And so it really comes down to hard work, having a set of goals that we go after, and then executing it at a very high level.
Well, let me add to that as well. On the business side, I am confident that having a full-time owner focused on the business of the club can do much better than we've been able to do, because we've been terribly hampered by the uncertainty of sponsors, season ticket holders, broadcasters. There's only so much they're going to be prepared to do in the face of uncertainty. Giving the franchise the stability that it needs and deserves, we think will enable Greg to do the things that he's done in other places so well.
For Mr. Jamison, what was so attractive about this opportunity?
Well, I've been around the NHL for a few years, and I've had a chance to watch the Phoenix situation over the years up close and personal. And it was about a year ago that I made a call to Gary, and I said, I'm kind of interested in what's going on down there. I've been watching it. I know it's had some struggles, and I would like to find out a little bit more about it. So I had a conversation with him. He introduced me to Ed Beasley, so I spent more than a few phone calls with Ed Beasley, came down and visited, and we made the decision that we would like to go forward with the group and see if we could pull alongside and help out and be a part of this. And we have looked from the very beginning and think there's great upside, that it's a franchise that can do very well, and we have not altered from that opinion. And we will continue to work at it, as I said earlier, and hopefully in a professional and enthusiastic and passionate way to continue its growth.
Gary, you said in the beginning that you thought it was a little bit overhyped that we were here. How far down the track are you here? Obviously, you wouldn't be here if you didn't feel like you were a certain way down the track. How can you characterize where you are right now?
Well, I think what was overhyped was our mere presence here today. Coming to a playoff game shouldn't surprise anybody. We didn't have a formal announcement to make. This is a bit of an update as to where we are, but we think things are on track, and we, as I said before, see light at the end of the tunnel. And this is a path that, based on everything we know, we're comfortable pursuing, because we think it's the right result for a team that we think, as Greg said, has a terrific fan base. This is a good sports market. This is a good building. With the right ownership, we think all of the indications for the future can be positive.
Fans here have heard this.
Who are you addressing this to?
This is for both Mr. Jamison and Mr. Bettman. Fans here have heard this before. This is the third potential owner who would keep a team here. Not the fourth, isn't it? The fourth who's come forward. What makes this time different? And by different, I mean, does Mr. Jamison have the financial means to pull this off? Why will this time work, whereas the past 3 times did not?
Well, I'm not sure that I count the same way you do, but we'll put that aside. With the group that Greg has assembled, he's comfortable that the financial wherewithal is there. We'll continue to do our due diligence as we do on any franchise ownership transfer. And this has been an extremely complicated situation that had to be dealt with on a number of tracks. And while we did have a deal that could have proceeded about a year ago, interference by outside third parties made it impossible for that to proceed, so we had to start over again. You may choose to be cynical on the point, so you'll just have to wait and see, like everybody else, how successful we are.
Gary, can you provide a timeline for when you hope or think that this transaction can be completed?
I would hope that it could be counted in weeks as opposed to months.
And a question for Mr. Jamison, if I can. How far down the path are you with the city of Glendale in terms of a lease agreement?
I would hope it to be counted in weeks and not in months. We've had numerous meetings. I think we're on a good track on both sides, and both with the NHL and both with the city. And these things, Gary's right, these things always take time, and there's a lot of things to work through, but we will come at it with as much vigor that we can and see if we can get to the end.
Gary, you mentioned third-party interference before. I'm curious if you feel that you've been able to work out the details so that that sort of interference won't occur again.
Well, I can't predict what third parties may do. The last time, we believed that the deal that had been constructed was permissible, was legally sound, but the mere threat that was issued is what killed the deal, because an essential component of that deal couldn't be completed under the threat. We think ultimately we would have prevailed, but that would have been a Pyrrhic victory because we couldn't complete the deal. I assume everybody will do what they have to do when the time comes, and we'll deal with it. But the way this deal is structured is different than the way that deal was structured, so If there's third-party interference, it won't be something that should stop us at the beginning. We should be able to proceed and ultimately prevail.
Mr. Bettman, what specifics can you give us about this deal? How is this deal different from the ones in the past?
Oh, it's structured differently, but I don't think at this point that with the work that both the council is going to have to do, it ultimately will be public, and the work that Greg and we have to finish, I don't think it's appropriate to get into the details right now. At the appropriate time, obviously, people are going to know.
And so, gentlemen, you mentioned a third party. If the Goldwater Institute, if there's a threat coming from them again this round, would that derail it either side?
I don't think so, the way we're structured. But again, they'll do what they have to do. If they have to do anything, we're hoping they don't. We don't see any reason why they should. But if they do, we'll deal with it.
So, Bettman, you called about, you said the overhype. Did you make reference to the situation in Quebec City where a lot of fuss was made about the transfer to Coyotes or any other franchise of the league?
I wasn't referring to Quebec State at all. I was referring to the fact that I was getting texts and emails, as was Bill Daly, all through the night about what we were coming to announce and when we were coming to announce it and what time the press availability for the announcement would be. I just viewed that we were coming to conduct some meetings, give an update, and which we've done, and then attend the game.
And also, do you feel that the progress here in Phoenix and Glendale might put a hold in Quebec City for next season?
We're not focused on any other place for the Coyotes other than Glendale, where the franchise is. As we've repeatedly said, we don't look at alternatives or make comparisons on markets. We try to work with the franchise where it is when there's a problem, and we'll continue to do it that way.
This is a question for both of you. I'm wondering what could come first. Would we see an arena management agreement or a Board of Governors vote?
My guess is, based on the timelines with the city, the council for Glendale will wind up focusing on the reformed lease before the board will be given the completed transaction. Ed nods in agreement. Thank you. Thank you. And Greg, do you nod in agreement? And I nod in agreement. We're all in agreement. Anybody else? Yes. Camp? Oh, back there.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can ask a question too.
For Mr. Jamison, is there a point in the proceedings at which your principals will be identified?
Yes, eventually. They will be.
Eventually?
Yeah, it's all part of it. You know, I think at the end of the day, we didn't want this to be a distraction, this event right now. It's all about the game now. I'm excited and we're looking forward to it. And in good time, the principals and the rest of the group will be revealed, but not today.
More questions? Any other questions? Well, there's a game going to take place shortly. I hope you all enjoy it, and thanks for joining us this afternoon.